What's up, everybody? Tyson Roush, Let's Talk Jets Radio. Hope everybody's well. Hope everybody's safe. Enjoying your weekend. Some decent weather coming up next week. If you're in New Jersey area, 50s and 60s, which is more than welcome at this point. Some quick thoughts on free agency. Been a wild, weird time in free agency with so much uncertainty around the salary cap, what players are looking for. And I guess before we get started, a couple things. Primetime and I enjoy talking to everybody, interacting with everybody, making videos, doing all the live streams, the chats. But I don't understand what makes people feel so entitled to do all these personal attacks towards us. I mean, I will never understand it. Does it make you feel better? Are you a keyboard warrior? Listen, if you don't like our takes on Darnold or free agency or Joe Douglas, have an educated, discussion about it and talk football. I mean, if you want to sit here and start ripping us, we spend a lot of time trying to answer every comment, answer every tweet, do all this. And then the same people saying the same shit over and over, personal attacks, man. Like, get a life, get a clue. If you don't like what we do, don't follow us. Unsubscribe. I honestly don't care if we have 6,000 subscribers, 2, 5. This is supposed to be fun for everybody. We can all talk football as Jet fans. If you're going to be this jerk-off that keeps doing this stuff, at some point when it stops becoming fun, we all stop doing this. It's just not worth it. So get a life, get a clue, and ease up. Enjoy football, enjoy life. It is way too short. Some thoughts on free agency is obviously the big splash that everybody's hoping for didn't happen. There's a lot of philosophies why. Is Joe Douglas cheap? Is Joe Douglas conservative? Is it the opinion on the coach? I think there's a lot of things that go into this. First thing is, one of the biggest concerns going into this offseason was, what is the perception of the team? What is the perception of the quarterback position? And that's enormous. If a lot of players are taking one-year deals, if you have a one-year deal to maximize your potential, do you want to go to a team with a first-year head coach and a complete unknown with the quarterback position, whether it's Darnold or a rookie quarterback? It's an unknown. Do you want to double down with that or go to a team with more stability? Like, if you had a choice between the Cowboys, even with Dak Prescott coming off injury, or the Jets, you're probably going to go to Dak and those guys. Take the explosive offense. So you have a better chance to win. So if you're going to be in a place for 1 year, you want to win and make money. That's the way it is, and get good stats. So a lot of these decisions don't really surprise me. The perception of the coach could be great, but it's still his first year. I think if the Jets put together a physical, sound, quality football team this year, free agents next year with more cap space and more freedom may be more likely to come here. As for Joe Douglas, everybody has said over and over and over that he wants to build through the draft, which the draft hasn't happened yet, newsflash for some people, and he's got a litany of draft resources. So that's going to be his backbone for his team. Yes, he didn't draft well last year, but we got to give him. We got to see what he has. I mean, this is the guy that we're all putting faith in. Is it blind faith? I have no idea. But with the amount of draft resources he has, he can make a significant amount of moves. So his free agency approach is disappointing in some aspects, but at some aspects, I respect it. Listen, if we want to go out and buy a car and say, you know what, I want to get this car, it's $30,000. Okay. Well, the dealer says, you know what, $35,000, it's yours. Well, I really want to spend $35,000 to have this car. Is it really worth it? Is it worth my investment? It's much more than I want to spend for it. Is the return on the investment going to be worth it? At some point, you draw that line. And at some point, you realize, listen, who am I competing against? Like the Jets and the Chiefs, you can't compete with that. A comparable offer between, you're going to go there. I mean, you're going to go to a Super Bowl winning team that's on the verge of going back to the playoffs every year, competing for a Super Bowl every year. You can't compete with it. So at some point, Joe Douglas has to draw the line and not be used for leverage and say, listen, this is out of our budget because I want to spend this money elsewhere. I want to get other players elsewhere. Or my plan A is this, but I feel very confident in my plan B, or maybe my plan C, which could be the draft or a lesser tier guy. And the other thing is, too, is what I've learned is nobody really knows what Joe Douglas is or this coaching staff is. All throughout this offseason, all the experts predicted all these things. The Jets are going to get this guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy. None of them happened for the most part. And everybody's backtracking. Well, I never said that. I meant this. I meant this. No. We don't know what this coaching staff needs. We don't know what this coaching staff wants. Is Mike LaFleur going to run Kyle Shanahan's offense? Is he going to run like his brother, an offense like his brother runs in Green Bay? Is he going to do a hybrid of all of them? We have no idea. We don't know what his fits are for the offensive line. He may have confidence. Say, listen, this current offensive line group, I can scheme around our deficiencies and get good productivity out of it. Spend the money elsewhere. Get me other guys. Go do this. We don't know what their vision is. This is their first year on the job. So I don't understand that. The opinion. One interesting thing is, what guys Rob Saleh brings in, his former players. Every coach does it. He hasn't done it yet. What players follow him here? Now the story is Richard Sherman's not coming here. Does he want to win now? I wouldn't blame him at all. Does he want to come to a team that's completely rebuilding and be the leader? Or does he want to make money and win somewhere else and finish his Hall of Fame career? I wouldn't blame him there either. But there's a lot of waffling takes here, and people are accusing me of this. I'm not really waffling at all. I like Lawson. I like Davis. I like Cole. Yes, I'd like to see more activity in free agency. I'm surprised by the offensive line, but I'm not panicking because I think that you can get good value in the draft, and there's still other guys out there. So I'm going to stick with that, and if Joe Douglas doesn't draft well, we are fucked anyway. Just like McCadden couldn't draft well, we're fucked. That's for every general manager. So I like the signing so far. I don't like the approach in certain areas, but I'm also curious that what players still want to come here. Salah's a respected guy, but the Jets are still a bad franchise. They won 2 games last year. They are completely rebuilding, and there's not an answer at quarterback yet. Even if you say, you know what, we're going to bring back Sam Darnold and we're going to trade back. How many players across the NFL want to play for Sam Darnold and believe in him and say, you know what, I'm going to spend my next year enduring play with the Jets under Sam Darnold? How many guys want to do that? We have no idea. To me, there's a lot of uncertainties, and when we have all these arguments, it's like, and I respect Kevin. The one thing I don't like the way people handle prime time, that kid spends a lot of time researching shit. He is 10 times more educated about football than I am. He researches players, stats, watches film. He does it all, dude. I don't do half of that shit. I'm just too busy, and I don't have that vested interest. I just know what I know. I watch, and that's it. So, but you look at all these different takes, and we don't know a lot of stuff here about. We assume a lot of things, and everybody assumes all these things, and we don't generally know. So the next couple of weeks will be interesting. The Jets are still active in a couple players. The Giants made a splash move with Golladay. Good for them. I don't really like comparing the Jets to other teams because we're not in the same boat as a lot of other teams. New coaching staff, completely redoing your roster, changing schemes. It's a true work in progress. It's a true incomplete. So I'm not going to give a grade yet because that's kind of lunacy. And you kind of got to grind it out. So obviously there are Jet fans that are disappointed. I mean, the fired Joe Douglas stuff is ridiculous to me. There are some Jet fans that say, you know what, I understand the moves. I mean, in our nature, it's okay to be skeptical because Joe Douglas hasn't proven anything yet. I mean, if you watched our show last year, I questioned a lot of things Joe Douglas did. We don't know how much, say, Adam Gase had in all that, but Joe Douglas was a part of it. His draft, his guys, his free agency, he admitted some mistakes, but now year 2, he learned some lessons. It's funny because, in theory, the way he spent money this year, I'm only waiting for somebody to say, you know what, the Jets had spending restrictions or something, like Manish did last year. But it's not the case. The Jets made some aggressive plays, didn't work out, and now you have to adjust and you have to adapt and you have to modify your plan. You can't have a rigid plan in the NFL. Say, listen, we're only going to get these 5 guys and we're going to build this way. You have to adapt, adjust, and move on. And that's how good teams get better, how good teams stay better, because you adjust with the flow. You keep modifying, you keep enhancing, you search every aspect you can to find players. So to me, it's maybe a little bit disappointing that the offensive line is not significantly upgraded because that's the biggest priority. But you upgrade the wide receiver position, you got a pass rusher, whether you like him or not, I like him, and you let this all play out. So to me, the draft is going to be enormous. I think you'll probably still sign some other, they definitely need a corner. And that's the other thing. Kyle Fuller yesterday was going to the Broncos. If you follow Ben Albright, he's been telling you this for a week. So the Jets not getting him is not an indictment on the Jets. He didn't want to come here. He wanted to go to his old coach. Sometimes you got to look at instead of just bitching and moaning about everything the Jets do, look at the big picture. Look at the background. Who's the player got a background with? What's the money? What's the team? What's the, all these different things. So they need a corner. They definitely need offensive line help. They definitely need different pieces. They can still add more, and then there's the draft. And then you let the dust settle after that. And for me, at this point, I'm not going to completely judge this offseason until May and June. So, okay, listen, this is our roster as of now. We get ready for training camp. Where do we stand? Where are the holes? Where are legitimate concerns? And we'll go from there. Listen, if Joe Douglas doubles down and says, you know what, I'm going to stick with McGovern, I'm going to stick with Van Roten, and that's the guys I feel comfortable with, then at this point, okay, scheme them up and coach them up. And the one thing is, a lot of things on coaching is we don't know what they do and how they can actually have a very good offensive line coach. They got a good coordinator who can actually scheme away from your imperfections, which Adam Gase never did either. So I understand all the frustrations. I understand the concerns, the skepticism. We're Jets fans. I'm with you. I understand it. I'm just going to stay patient because there's so much that can happen. We finally have all these draft resources that we can do so many different things with. whether it's take a quarterback, trade back, do all these different things. I got to let it play out. I'm not going to give you all these blistering takes. It's just not, me, it's not, the energy's not worth it. Because what's going to happen is we're going to fire out all these takes now, and a month from now, I'll be like, wow, that kind of doesn't really apply, because now we see what the true vision is. We see what the blueprint is. And that's what makes a difference. So, listen, enjoy the ride. Go enjoy some weather. It's the spring. Things are changing. Hopefully we get a couple more players, along the way, and we'll get ready for the draft. And the draft will be intense. It's going to be crazy. And that's, I think, we're going to finally see what this team's going to be like this year. I'd have no problem starting 2 offensive linemen that are rookies. I mean, if you can build the offensive line that way, that's probably your ideal scenario. If you had 2 rookies and Becton, 3 of your 5 guys are rookies that are growing up together with whoever your quarterback is, not a bad thing. Then you add in a young receiver in Mims. That's how you build your nucleus. That's how you build your roster. That's how you build your team. So have a good day. Relax. Enjoy life a little bit. I'll talk to you later.